In this video, I'm actually going to recreate a SaaS that I pay for and actually build it in Lovable so I can actually cancel my subscription. So let me go ahead and share my screen and explain exactly kind of the software I'm trying to recreate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over to this thumbnail editor here. So this is called Test My Thumbnails. And essentially what this software does is it allows you to upload your thumbnails and test it compared to others to see what it would look like. So you can see I upload this, you could see this in the feed here, and then I could write in the title. So I asked ChatGPT deep research, how to make $1 million. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. It's a good one. But there we go. So we can now see what our thumbnail looks like inside of this feed. And I use this every single day. And currently, I'm paying $27 every single month to access this software. So I thought to myself, why don't I just try recreating this in Lovable? It seems easy enough to do. I could probably even build a better version of this that is customized to myself. So that is where platforms like Lovable, where you could go from text to web app, are so powerful. And they're going to be powerful in the future because we're all going to have customizable SaaS based on our preferences instead of having to pay other people to use their services. So I could click random. You could see, I could, just see if my thumbnail stands out. That's a really good thumbnail and title, in my opinion, compared to these others. So there we go. This is what we're going to try to emulate, is this app right here. So next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into Lovable and let me just try to explain what I'm trying to build. With this first initial prompt, I'm going to dive in deep and kind of give a full layout of, okay, I'm trying to build an app that does this and this and this, maybe even give a screenshot of this so I could kind of potentially try to replicate it in some form of way. So let's just say, help me build a web app that allows you to test YouTube thumbnails and titles in order to see what they will look like when posted to the feed on YouTube. And then let's just come here and say, notice all uploaded thumbnails and titles need to fit the exact format of YouTube. The entire purpose of the app is to see what the format will look like when live on YouTube. Okay, so what I'm saying here is we need it to look exactly like YouTube. So if I come over to YouTube, it needs to look exactly like this. It needs to be like the same size thumbnail. The title needs to be exactly the same, like same font. And for example, like we don't want this title to be all on the same line. It needs to look exactly how it would look on YouTube. So that is why I specified that. And then let's go ahead and just say, here are some of the key features. Ability to number this. 1, ability to upload thumbnail photos. 2, ability to add titles. 3, show mock YouTube videos to create a fake feed in order to see what our video will look like and if it will stand out compared to others. Okay, so I think that's a good initial prompt. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give this a screenshot here. And I don't want to necessarily like completely recreate this exactly, but I want it to get a sense of kind of what we want the feed to look like. Maybe have the bar, the navigation bar on the left-hand side where we upload our thumbnail and add our title and whatnot. So let's go ahead and go through this. Also, one thing I want to mention, guys, is this video is probably going to be a bit more of a raw and uncut video like my others where I build with Lovable. So you could see like me kind of breaking this because it's not going to be pretty perfect. It won't be as simple as giving it this prompt and then having it done. So bear with me. And one thing I want to mention is I know you guys seem to be enjoying that type of content because you want to see like how I fix an error and whatnot. The videos I've had with Mark previously on the channel, make sure to check those out if you haven't already. But yeah, I think it's fun just diving in deeply, showing you exactly the problems I run into. And yeah. All right. So after our first initial prompt, it looks like we ran into an error here. So let's go ahead and show the log and then try to fix this. So interesting. Honestly, I don't even know what any of this is. I think it's trying to recreate the user interface of that screenshot I gave it. So I think that's maybe what's causing the errors here. So let's try to fix this. And then I'm going to come over here to our actual app that we're trying to recreate. And I'm going to show you the pricing. So here we go. I pay monthly and I've used the pro plan because I need unlimited thumbnail ideas, up to 3 thumbnail A/B tests at once, whatnot. So $27 per month. That's how much I am paying. So I'm going to be saving myself $27 per month, which adds up to, let's see here, $27 $1,000 times 12, $324 per year. And not only that, but I could then go ahead and sell this to other people and actually make money from this, which I'm going to show you later on in the video. I'm going to show you how to add Stripe payments. So guys, this is going to be a valuable one for you. Okay, here we go. Looks like this is what it gave us. Let's go ahead and test the functionality here, which is always really important to do at the beginning. So it looks like this file upload works. Image must be exactly 1280, 720 pixels. Let's see. Interesting. So first of all, I'm running into an error inside of the app. For whatever reason, I think because I mentioned that it needs to be the exact thumbnail as, or it needs to be the exact dimensions as YouTube. Maybe like that's why this upload is not working. So let me go ahead and just ask here. Doesn't need to be 1280 times 720. I just need the output that shows in the preview in feed to be the exact size of YouTube. Okay, so hopefully it understands what I'm saying here. All right, for some reason the upload's not working. Let me open it up in a new tab. Maybe for whatever reason it only allows one upload and we already used that. So here we go. Okay, so that worked. Now let me go ahead and give it a title here. So I asked ChatGPT deep research how to make $1 million. Okay, there we go. So this is cool. Obviously, it's now working. The question is if this is correctly showing the format of how it would look on YouTube. So let me come back over here and we'll just test it inside of this, obviously, because we're trying to recreate this site here. So let's just make sure that it looks the exact same as this software here. And then let me fully expand this. So you could see what I mean by this is maybe I could try to do a side-by-side comparison or something. But okay, I need to make sure that like the title looks exactly the same. So on this, the top, the first line says I asked ChatGPT deep research how to, and then the bottom line is actually make $1 million. So let me see. All right, so it's slightly there. It's not fully formatted correctly. We'll go ahead and fix this here shortly. All right, so actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my YouTube page here and I'm gonna screenshot this and just give it I want it to know what this is actually supposed to look like. So might as well give it a real world example. This screenshot is what the preview of my specific thumbnail I tested should look like. I took this directly from YouTube. The second screenshot is what you currently gave me as the output. You can see that the title isn't fully displayed how it would be on YouTube. Let me explain, and then I'm going to basically explain that. I basically just need to explain why it doesn't look correct. In the YouTube example, the title is formatted like this in the user interface. Basically, the first line says, I asked ChatGPT deep research how to, let me put this in quotations. And then the second line says, make $1 million. So I'm just basically explaining to it that I need to format this exactly how it is formatted on YouTube. Right here, obviously you could see that this is slightly different. The second line here is a bit different than this one. We need to say, make $1 million because this is exactly what it'll look like once it's actually live on YouTube. So, and then I'm gonna screenshot this. So the output you gave me is formatted like this. And then basically I'm going to say first line, I asked ChatGPT deep research how to make line 2 $1 million. You can see that the format is not correct. Please fix this to be exactly like YouTube. Okay, so I don't know if that will actually fix this issue here. This may be a bit more difficult than I initially thought in order to get the format exactly like YouTube, but let's go ahead and start with this. Okay, so it said, looking at the YouTube screenshot, I could see that we need to adjust the text wrapping and line height to match YouTube's exact formatting. Now let's modify the mock video component to achieve this. So I wonder if this actually has the information from YouTube to be able to format this correctly, or I wonder if I need to go to YouTube and actually get this information. Like, for example, I don't know if it's written in the code on YouTube, and YouTube, like the YouTube code is accessible for people to see. Maybe Lovable will be able to figure this out itself. So let's go ahead and just see if it's able to. So it's saying that the changes are in place. However, I do not see it. So let me try this one more time. So I'm still seeing the same thing. You did not change anything. So weird. It didn't even like run any code or anything. So I wonder if it just like disregarded my message or something. So let's go ahead and give this a second. Let me launch on a new tab. Maybe this will be in effect here. Still no. Okay, so I don't know why it's saying that if it's still not working properly. Same issue. It is not formatted like YouTube. Let me ask a question. So sometimes it's good to ask Lovable a question when you're actually, not seeing something. So let me say, are you sure you implemented this new format? And then hopefully it'll identify that I actually did not, and then go ahead and actually do that. But let's see. So I've updated the title formatting to match YouTube's exact behavior by adjusting the line height to 20 pixels and adding specific CSS properties to control word breaking and line wrapping. This should now match YouTube's title display format more accurately. So let me refresh. This is where using Lovable could be a bit frustrating because I don't understand how to actually, get this to work properly here. Okay, so I'm still having the same issue. So far, our app looks great, and we could easily make this user interface look so much better, but it's just simply getting this formatting to work properly is what's important here. The text breaking format is still not working. Here is what it looks like. Let me screenshot this. It should be formatted like this. And let me go up here and then basically say, okay, so the first line should say, I asked ChatGPT deep research, how to, and then the second line says, make $1 million. Okay, so for whatever reason, that's not working. Let's move on now for now, and then we'll come back and fix this. We need to make this user interface look a bit, cleaner to the eye, essentially. Okay, so you know what? I think the reason that we can't get this formatting to work properly is because the format will always be different. So like, for example, if you're on YouTube and we like condense the size of our screen, like the format's not going to be exactly correct every time. So let me go ahead. I don't know. I'm just going to not worry about this right now for this second. Let me move on to the next step here. So let's make a light and dark mode to emulate exactly what YouTube's dark mode looks like. All right, so now we got a dark mode here, so we could test this out, see what it looked like on YouTube in dark mode. So there we go. Great, that looks good. It looks exactly like, YouTube in YouTube's dark mode. So that looks great. Let me go ahead and move this back to light mode. So what else shall we add now? Okay, so now let's go ahead, and what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna try to copy this UI component here. I don't need it to look exactly like this, obviously. Like I don't want to completely copy this, but let's just say, let's add a UI component like this in order to sort through the different formats to view the preview in. Just add the UI component, and then I will explain how to add the actual functionality. So I don't want to give it too much to work on now. I simply just want to implement something like this, so that way we actually have a way to toggle between these. And then from there, we'll make an adjustment. Okay, nice. So it actually added that toggle here. So that's pretty good. Obviously, it looks like it's toggling between desktop and iPad and iPhone. So let's see. I don't think this will actually work correctly because we'll need to add the functionality, but let me just try. Okay, yeah. So now let's go ahead and add functionality to this. Great. Looks nice. Now let's add functionality to it so we can see what it will look like on desktop, iPad, or tablet, and phone. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's test this out here. So the formatting doesn't look perfect. Obviously, you could see here it's a bit thrown off. So let's just go ahead and make the necessary adjustments here. Looks like the formatting is a bit off. Please fix this and make sure all UI components fit properly on the screen and don't cover each other. And then also I'm gonna throw in, we want our app layout to feel intuitive. Okay, hopefully this should fix this. Should be an easy fix though. And then obviously what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to fix the stock images here to actually use real thumbnails or something just like this in order for this to, look a bit better. Still, it's not working. Let me go ahead and share another screenshot. It still doesn't look great. Okay, that looks a bit better, but honestly, why don't we just keep this the same format, and then just the only thing that changes is the preview and the feed. So I'm going to go ahead and mention that. So how about we keep your thumbnail and your title portion of the app the same for both the tablet and the phone preview. However, just change the preview in feed to properly show what it will look like on those devices. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. Because this up here could be big, but the only thing that needs to change is what it'll look like on the iPhone. So cool. So imagine you're scrolling on your phone. That's kind of what our feed will look like there. As you can see, it looks very similar to this. So nice. I guess let me think what our next steps here should be in order to make this app look a little bit better. Because functionality is, it's looking a bit better here. Okay, this is looking great. Good job. Sometimes you got to give our AI a little pat on the back. And then let's just basically mention we need to use real mock data. Let's use real mock data in order to fetch real videos, or let's use real data in order to fetch real videos instead of mock from YouTube. Help me add this functionality to show the real videos from YouTube. I wonder if this will be too difficult to do because I don't even know if this shows I don't know if these are actual YouTube videos that are fetched from YouTube or if it's just like static images and titles that were uploaded into the system and then, just left like that. So we might just end up doing that if that's easier. All right. So next up, I went ahead, I tried to add my API key for YouTube in order to fetch real data from YouTube, but I need to actually connect to a Supabase account in order to store my API key. So what I'll do is I'll click Supabase. Supabase is essentially the platform we use in order to create a database on the back end for our application. So I don't need to dive too deep into this now, but this is also how we're going to create Stripe payments, how we're going to add user accounts and whatnot that we could store data in. So let me go ahead and just name this. Let's just say thumbnail. There we go. Create new project. And then I'm going to let this load for a bit and then we should be good to go here shortly. Our Supabase project should be all set up now. So I'm going to come to our add API keys. I'm going to add an API key here. And now this will then store this information inside of our Supabase account on the back end. Okay, so that actually did not work because we need to come up here and actually configure this. So I need to add this, connect my thumbnail app here, and then now this should be good to go. Okay, so now I should be able to add my API key. Looks like it now added the API key. Great, I added the API key. Now help me. Okay, so great. Now that we've added the YouTube API key securely stored in Supabase, let's implement the YouTube video fetching functionality. First, we need to create a table to cache YouTube responses to avoid hitting API limits. So interesting, it's going to create a table to cache YouTube search results. Okay, let's apply these changes. One thing I just realized is if I were to launch this app, every time anybody would pull live YouTube data, it would then charge my YouTube API keys. So that's something that I actually would not want to do. But first of all, let's see if this is even possible. I might need to just upload my own fake thumbnails here and then just set that as kind of the default setting inside of my app. Okay, so it looks like it's actually trying to load this feed here. Looks like it's trying to actually fetch from YouTube. So I wonder if it will actually be able to pull this. All right, so it's not pulling real data here. So I'm gonna just basically say, actually, let me upload some stock images and titles. Actually, let me upload some stock images and titles to use as a preset preview for the feed. We can just use those photos use those photos always for the feed, besides the ones that I want to test out. Okay. All right, so it's actually setting up the SQL code inside of Supabase. So create a storage bucket for stock images, create a policy to allow public read access, create a policy to allow authenticated users to upload stock images. Okay, let's apply these changes here. Migration has been applied successfully. Now I can help you implement the code changes to use stock thumbnails for titles and thumbnails. Would you like me to proceed with implementing that functionality? Yes, proceed. If so, you'll need to upload some stock images to the stock thumbnails bucket first, and then I can help you upload them into the feed. Okay, so looks like there's going to be some form of bucket inside of here, which I don't know where to find yet. And I'll actually need to manually, I think, add those images and titles in order for us to use. All right, so looks like it actually added this storage bucket here. So if I click on this, it brings me here where I need to actually drop the files. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and grab some thumbnails that I think will be good to add. And then I'll come back once all of that's done. All right, guys, so I actually went ahead, I uploaded some thumbnails that I liked, and As you can see, we now have a well-curated feed here, which is awesome. So you can see we have all these different thumbnails that I uploaded. Shout out to my friend Lee Motley. Shout out to my friend Dave Ebelar. Shout out to Alex Hermosi. So here we go. This looks awesome, guys. So we're definitely making a lot of progress here. So what next should we actually do? If you could see, I could actually come to the mobile, and you can see this is what it would look like in mobile. I think we need to now add an ability to remix this, or like mix these up. So I want to not just have my preview in feed right here at the top, but I'd like for it to be mixed in randomly so I could actually see if it's eye-catching enough for me to spot it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's now add a mix or randomize button that randomizes the thumbnails. So my preview thumbnail I created is somewhere random. And then I'm just going to explain why I want this to function, or why I want to add this, so that way it'll kind of understand better what I'm trying to explain. So this way I can see if my thumbnail stands out when mixed in randomly. Okay, let's give it that, and hopefully this should work. Next up, I think we're getting close to being able to add user logins and with Supabase, as well as add Stripe payments so I could actually charge money for this. Boom, there we go. So now you can see it's randomized. So if I click randomize feed, it'll show me at the top now. Oh, it looks like I'm still at the top every time. When I click the randomize button, also randomize where my thumbnail is in the feed. So it's randomizing the feed, but obviously it's not randomizing my thumbnail. Oh, now it is on this. So, okay, there we go. Now that is working properly. Guys, this is turning out to be an awesome little app here, and it's working, you know, just as good as I could hope for. So looks great. What else could we add here that could be pretty interesting? All right, so now I'm going to add the ability to add my channel. So you can see right here, I could actually add an active channel, and it will show my name underneath my, my thumbnail. So that way it could show, instead of it saying your channel, it'll actually show my YouTube channel underneath your title section. This way you can see what it will look like with your channel name underneath your thumbnails. Here is an example. So then I'll go like this, and then screenshot this so I can see what I'm talking about. Okay, there we go. So ideally, we're gonna have a text box right here where we could actually add the channel ID for our channel, and it will always showcase that. While this is loading, let me open this up and see what this actually looks like in a real tab. Boom, there we go. This is looking really good, guys. Okay, now I'm adding my title or my channel name, adding a thumbnail. This is working really good. Boom, there we go. Guys, there we go. I think this is all we need to do for now. The functionality works exactly how it did for this app here, which is exactly what we were, trying to emulate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to add the ability to add user logins and payments. So let's go ahead and do that now. This all looks amazing. Now let's add user login so I can then implement Stripe for people to have access to using the app. All right, so it's actually writing the SQL code here, basically creating a profiles table inside of Supabase. So we'll have a new database in here, adding all of the user accounts and whatnot, enable row level security, create policies. So this is awesome. If you guys haven't seen my previous videos about Lovable, it's literally writing the code in order to build a database for us, which I would have no clue at all how to do myself. So the fact that it's able to do that and build an amazing looking app like this is really cool. So let's go ahead, and all we need to do is click apply these changes, and then it will begin setting up everything on the back end here so we could then begin implementing the ability for users to sign in. All right, so now we have a sign in and sign up part of the app here. Looks like we need to sign up first. Okay, so there's an error. We'll come back to this. All right, so we are back, and we actually got our thumbnails here added. So you can see I have a bunch of just random different thumbnails that I think look pretty good here inside of our feed, as well as we have our tablets page working. So what it look like on a tablet as well as on mobile. You can see this is exactly what it would look like. Guys, our app is looking amazing so far. We could also toggle to dark mode, and let's go ahead and I'm going to upload a thumbnail to test this out real quick. Boom, here we go. And then I asked ChatGPT deep research how to make $1 million. And there we go. So that is now working. It's working smoothly. Whoops. Looks like for whatever reason that failed. Okay, I'm gonna test this out real quick. I asked ChatGPT deep research, how to make $1 million. Let me copy and paste this so I don't need to keep writing that out. Okay, so that's looking great. Obviously we could toggle to light and dark mode. I think next up what I want to do is I want to add a feature to where we can randomize this. So that way I don't have this thumbnail directly right here. I want it in the middle of this feed so that way I could see if it stands out. And I think this is a good test, as well as our thumbnail tester app that we're trying to emulate has that same feature. So let me go ahead and add that now. Let's add a randomize button that randomizes the feed in order for me to see how the thumbnail preview will look when randomized. This should kind of understand what I'm trying to say here. Let's give it a second. And guys, I think so far this is looking great. This can do everything that the other app needed to. Honestly, I could cancel my plan at this point in time, which I'm actually probably going to do, and just use this instead. So now what I want to do is I want to actually go ahead after I get this, randomization button sorted. I want to actually add Supabase, add the ability to log in for users to log into an account, create accounts, as well as sign up with Stripe. So that is the ultimate test. Can we actually charge money for this? I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do that now. So let's try this out one more time. This should be good to go. So I got to upload the title and then randomize the feed. Okay, so it's randomizing all of the other thumbnails, but it's not randomizing my, the one that I added here. So I also want to randomize my thumbnail as well, so it isn't always the first one in the feed. Okay, that should be simple enough. Also, I'm pretty proud of this thumbnail. If you want to go check out this video, it's actually one of my last videos I created, so that's a pretty good one. ChatGPT deep research is pretty cool. All right, this should be good to go. So I could add that. Randomize feed. Okay, now it's completely randomizing it. So I could actually go ahead, click randomize, and then scroll and see if I think this stands out, which I think this thumbnail actually does stand out. So this is pretty cool, guys, as well as we could test inside of mobile. That is also working. It's randomizing this somewhere in the feed here. So guys, this app is working exactly how I wanted it to. The best that, this basically functions exactly like the other application I was trying to rebuild. So I think what I need to do now is I need to add the ability for users to log in, sign up for an account, and then also add Stripe so I could charge money for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and say, let's now go ahead and add user authentication so I can then add Stripe payments in order to access the app. So I'm going to pull up my Supabase here. And what it's doing is it's actually writing the SQL code, which will then be written inside of Supabase, inside of the edge functions here. So I don't know how to write this code, but it's actually doing it for me. So all I need to do is apply this apply this change, and it should work. Okay, looks like there was actually an error. Let's try to fix that error. All right, so it's saying that there was already... Okay, so now it's actually going to go ahead and implement the authentication UI now. So this will include the login and sign up components. So essentially I have to log in or sign up to an account before having access to the app, authentication, state management, and then protected routes for subscribed users. So I'm just basically going to say, let's move forward with those. Okay, it looks like we now have a sign up page. So I'm going to click on sign up. I'm then going to just type in my email, rock@gmail.com. And then let's go ahead, create an account. Okay, so it's looking like there are some issues here, and let's go ahead and try to fix this. I'm not sure what that error is all about. Looked like I tried to call this URL inside of Supabase. There was some form of error since it's undefined. All right, so what I'm going to do is I came inside of Supabase. I'm coming over to authentication inside my project, and I'm going to turn off confirm email and then secure email change, because that will actually just cause issues down the line when users try to sign in. They're going to have to confirm their email address. We don't want to do that. It's just a little bit of a pain. So let's try this one more time. Okay, so you can see I got frustrated. I said, you don't understand. It's still asking me to confirm my email. Just allow users into the app when they click create an account. And I said, I understand now. We need to modify the authentication component to automatically log users in after they sign up without waiting for any email confirmation. So let's sign out. Let's sign up again. Let's just say we need to try another email. Here we go. Create account. Okay, so that is actually working. That's great. We could also sign out. We can now upload our thumbnails. Boom, working smoothly. Amazing. That's great. So now what we need to do is we just need to come back into Lovable and just basically ask it to help us set up Stripe and say, okay, great. Now let's set up Stripe. So only users who pay can access the app. Okay, so it's actually giving us all of these steps here. First, we need to make sure all the requirements are in place. So Supabase project is set up. That's good to go. Authentication is working. We need a Stripe account and a product setup. We need a Stripe secret key in Supabase and price ID for subscription. So let me come to Stripe. All right, so I'm inside of Stripe here. We need to now add a subscription, or we need to add a product. Let's come down to billing. I guess, how do I add a product? Okay, so create payment link. Let's call this thumbnail tester. And then we're gonna make this a recurring payment. And then let's go ahead and just say, for the sake of this, let's just charge $10 as opposed to the $27 a month that I'm currently being charged. Create link, and then let's see what we need. So we need a Stripe account and product setup, Stripe secret key in Supabase. So here is the price ID. And then where you're gonna find the price ID is you click right here on the product, click on this again, and the price ID is right here. So let me give it that. Okay, so now it's actually going to create some edge functions inside of Supabase, which I don't need to dive into what that is now, but essentially it's going to create it's basically going to run code in Supabase in order to make sure that, it checks and make sure that users actually pay for actually having access to their account. All right, so let's take a look here. So I'm gonna ask, do I need to add my Stripe secret key? Because it actually didn't, it's not saying that I need that, even though up here it said that I did need to add that. Okay, so it looks like my Stripe secret key is already set up in my Supabase edge functions. So what is this error? Let's try to fix this. Okay, for the sake of this, let's try to subscribe now. All right, so not looking good so far. It is actually not working. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click the select button. I'm gonna click on this button and basically say, when I click on this button, nothing happens besides an error. So this actually should be taking us to a Stripe checkout link every time we click on this, but instead we're getting an error for some reason. So it's looking like the error is actually inside the edge function. So that is the reason why this isn't working. All right, another error. Guys, there's nothing worse in Lovable or any of these text to web app builders when you see an error because you don't know, sometimes you have no clue how to fix it and it's just a pain. So subscribe now. Let's try this. Let me show this log. I don't know what to do here, guys. So let me try this one more time and just click try to fix. That's all we could do here. All right, so I think I actually need to go inside of to Supabase and maybe add my secret key. Okay, get your Stripe key, add it to Supabase edge functions. So let me add that there. Copy paste this Stripe secret key. Let's create that. Okay, I added it. So hopefully that was the issue there, that fact that it just didn't save my Stripe API key. Okay, subscribe now. It's now taking me to Stripe. Good sign so far, even though it's showing I encountered an error. Oh, okay. We actually need to test this out in the browser. I forget if you test it in Lovable, it doesn't work for whatever reason. So let's just click on subscribe now. And what we could do is we could actually go ahead and input our card information. Let's just put some fake information. 4242424242. Okay, and let's just say, give it some fake information. Let's just say Brock. Boom. So this is just gonna test, since this is in test mode, it's just gonna test a fake, essentially just a fake card number. Okay, let's click subscribe. Should now go through. Boom, and then we should now have access to our application. As you can see, everything's working smoothly. We could then upload our app here. Boom, this is awesome. Let's just test this out one more time. And it's working, the randomization works. So everything on this is actually working super smoothly. That is great. One other thing we could do, guys, is we could actually go ahead and add a landing page to this. So maybe for the sake of this, let's actually go ahead and go back to Lovable. And instead of it looking like this, let's go ahead and create a landing page. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over to 21st.dev. I've actually done this in a previous video before. So I could actually take some stuff, take some UI components from this. And this is an awesome hack that I want to show you guys if you haven't seen already. So we could look at any of these kind of user interface components and basically add them to our application. And it's super easy to do. So let's just look for landing pages, or I guess let's just call it heroes. Okay, so this actually looks good right here. Let's just go ahead and copy and paste this. I want to recreate this and add this as my landing page in front of my application. So let's copy this prompt. And you can see you could actually copy the prompt for Lovable, which is super cool. And what it will do is basically we could just paste this in here. But before I do that, what I need to do is I say on the subscribe to access page, let's use this UI component for the landing page. And then I'm going to paste this right here. And then now it should actually create a landing page that looks similar to this. And then obviously I'll customize it, with the correct copy and whatnot. So it's customized for our app. But yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, so you can see this looks good right here, obviously, but I added this random thumbnail. Shout out my friend Liam Otley. But it also customized, so unlock premium features. Get access to advanced thumbnail testing tools and analytics to improve your YouTube content. So basically, let's just say for the main hero text, let's say, what would be a good text to use here for this? So test your thumbnails to increase YouTube reach. And then next up, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove this photo here. Also, guys, I want to mention, I'm actually going to go ahead and try to add a couple more features from 21st.dev in order just to make this look a little nicer. I know it's functioning exactly how we need it to, but I'm just going to do this as a little extra for the sake of this video. And I'll do this more in future videos, making really cool aesthetic looking user interface. But honestly, I was just trying to copy the other thumbnail software and it was very basic. But let's go ahead and try to add a little bit of a spin on this so you guys could see how easy it is to do with 21st.dev copying these user interface components into Lovable. So this looks cool so far. Test your thumbnails to increase YouTube reach. Get access to advanced thumbnail testing tools and analytics to improve your YouTube content. Okay, there's a subscribe now button. Now let's just say, let's get rid of this image on the landing page. So let's screenshot that, or let's see if we could just select it. Yeah, we could just select the image. Okay, so that image is no longer there. However, it didn't keep that like orange glow that we wanted. So let's go ahead and restore this. I'm restoring back to, this one right here. Let's remove the image you added, but keep the orange glowing effect. Okay, so for whatever reason, that orange feature is actually not working. So I'm gonna come over here. I actually like this design better anyways. So let's go ahead, copy this prompt. Let's just say, actually, let's make this the hero. Remove what you currently have. Make the main hero text say, test your thumbnail, blah, blah, blah. And then again, let's copy this prompt here, paste it into Lovable. Okay, so I'm not seeing the new hero. I'm actually not seeing the new hero page. It is what it was before I asked you to change it. Add this. Or I'm going to say replace it with this. Again, I'm going to copy this prompt. There we go. This looks awesome. Test your thumbnails to increase YouTube reach. YouTube thumbnail tester. Craft exceptionally digital experiences through innovative design. And okay, let's change this to basically, let's say, change this text. Let's change it to test your thumbnail to see how it will compare with competing creators. Okay, we could, obviously customize the copy a bit more. Like we could get a little bit more thoughtful with it, but for the sake of this, I just want to get this up and running. It looks good. Let's launch this and that way we could wrap up this video here shortly. Okay, there we go. We can click on subscribe. It then would take us to Stripe. I need to say remove the sign out button. And then now what we're going to do once this is up and running is let's go ahead and find some other user interface components we like inside of 21st.dev, and then let's begin implementing them. I'm not going to add too many, but maybe just add a couple. I like this flickering grid here. So maybe we'll add this like behind, like basically for the background. Subscribe. Okay. All right, so it looks like we have a bit of an error because that login and sign up button, or that page there, is actually in front of this. So let's go ahead and say the login/sign up page is before the hero section that says subscribe. Let's make it so that the hero section is the first page And then we can eliminate, all right, let's just say we can add the authentication information on that page as well. So I guess that's not a very good explanation of what I'm trying to build, but let's just take a look here. All right, so test your thumbnails, subscribe now. Takes us to the subscription. Let's take a look at this. Let's subscribe and then see how the flow of this works. Okay, so now we actually have access to our account. So there we go. That looks good. All right, guys. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to come over to 21st.dev and let's search for some of these user interface components that I actually like that I could then add to our app just to make it look a little bit better, you know? So I like this flickering grid. Maybe we could add this, you know, behind as a background or something. Let's just go ahead and copy this. And then I'm going to go ahead and say, let's add this UI component to the background of our app. And then I'm going to paste that. This prompt is actually optimized for Lovable, as you can see, obviously, and like we discussed for our hero page, our landing page. All right, so you can see it added that kind of textured pattern here, and it's actually moving as well, I believe. So that looks pretty cool. Let's see if there's anything else we could add here that might just like, you know, spice this up a little bit. I might just leave it at that since this is working just how we need it to. Oh, that looks pretty cool in the dark mode as well. All right, guys, there we have it. I'm going to leave it there. We actually built a software that I was using. I recreated it, added my own spin to it, and honestly, I could make this look much better as well, which I'll probably be doing over the coming days, and maybe I'll show that on another video. But guys, if you got some value from this, leave a like, leave a comment. This was really fun to make. I'll actually be using this and canceling my subscription to my other service, which is absolutely awesome. And this is kind of the future of software development. You know, we'll be able to customize our own software with platforms like Lovable. So hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.